Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football G's up here. How's everybody doing on this Monday? Hope you guys tune in tonight. We may be a little late starting off our live stream tonight. I got a meeting with my buddy Don at 7:30 tonight, doing some work on his house. We're gonna get started on tomorrow, and we got to meet his wife after work. So it may be a little late on our live stream, but I do hope that you guys will stay tuned and be there for it. I always try and no matter what, do it on time. But sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches and do what you can do. And before I get to talking about what else our Dallas Cowboys, some 94 days, 11 hours, 31 minutes, and 20 seconds from now, kickoff of the 2019 season, I got to tell you, I am saddened. The thing I always try and do with this channel is I try to promote a positive message. You may not like everything that I have to say and things like that, but the world is so full of hate. We don't know with North Korea if we're going to end up being in a nuclear war. You look at, missiles fired at Israel again yesterday. There's saber rattling in Iran. And, we've got flooding in the Midwest. We've got, just a lot of bad things that are going on in the world. And there's so much hatred, so much fighting, and everything else that it bothers me. It bothers me the fact that, somebody, because what I do, because I believe in my quarterback, that in the middle of the night that people will send you emails, hate mail, and things like that. It's sad that your life is so pathetic and you're so filled with hate that you have to do this. I pray for you. I'm not mad at people that are like that. I hope they can find whatever it is that changes their demeanor. And the thing is I am exactly the person I am. Somebody commented yesterday on Instagram and they said, I can't believe you go out the house like that. I learned something. You can never judge a book by its cover. I remember doing a construction project where we were building a 80,000 square foot um, warehouse. And I remember seeing this guy drive in this station wagon, like a Brady Bunch station wagon, beat up, rusted out. And the guy gets out, his clothes are just terrible. And the guy looks like he's homeless. And I'll never forget because I was like, man, I think I'm going to buy that guy lunch because I felt sorry for him. Guy next to me starts cracking up. I was like, what's so funny? He said, do you know who that guy is? He said, that's William Hazel. William Hazel? You mean the names on all the red site construction trucks that I see all over? Yeah, that guy. He's worth about $50 million. Okay. And what I've learned from people who actually have money and things is they're not out to try and show you that they have money. They're trying to hold on to it. That's the difference between old money and new money. But you get the real person. Because see, here's the thing. If you see me out, maybe needing a haircut, maybe I got some paint on my clothes, you look at me. Are you looking at me because of the person I am, the one to talk to me? Or are you looking at me because of the clothes that I wear? Because that's the difference of having a substance versus flash. And what I've learned is if somebody talks to you then, they want to know you. They're not looking for the Air Jordans. They're not looking for the great rims and things like that. And that's where you end up realizing in relationships, flash only lasts so long. So anyway, dude, I hope that my quarterback ends up winning the Super Bowl and being MVP. For all of you people out there that just say Dak sucks, that the Cowboys are nothing, he's a bum, get rid of him. I hope that you guys will have to eat crow because of my quarterback. But anyway, I digress. I've spent too much time focusing in on somebody so full of hate. But dude, I pray for you. So here's the thing. I always wake up every morning and try to think, what am I going to talk about? And I'm sitting here thinking, because I'm a numbers guy, and I know they say stats are for nerds. Well, stats are for people that want to be successful too. Because if you don't know what's going on around you, and I don't care if that's the real estate market, I don't care if it's football, I don't care if it's being a doctor, if you don't know what the trends are, you cannot know how to fix a problem. And our problem is we have not won the Super Bowl since the 90s. So you've got to look under every rock and everything to try and figure out where we need to go. What were the trends? What has worked for us before? What has failed? What do we need to do? And as I started going through and looking at stuff, we're known as the Dallas Cowboys as a running football team. That's all the Dallas Cowboys are. And you look at the rushing statistics from this past season, we actually were 10th. Now, we know that Baltimore truly is a running team, but we don't really think about Seattle being a running team, but really they are. They were number one. And even New England. And as we go back through in 2017, here's what's interesting. We still ran the ball pretty well, even with Zeke being suspended for 6 games. 135 yards a game. Yet, and here's the amazing thing, 4.5 yards a carry. You look back at 2018, we actually ran it 4.5 again. Exactly the same. Okay? We go to 2016. We were second in the league. 4.8. And that, of course, Dak Prescott's rookie year. And here's where it's interesting still. Even in 2015, that abominable year, we still ran the ball effectively, 4.6 yards a carry. And, of course, the monster season for Tony Romo, we were fantastic, 4.6, 147 yards, which carried us. It did carry us. But, just for your information, though, I want you to think about this. For all those that say that we just have a bus driver that anybody will do because we run the ball effectively, we still ran the ball better in 2015, 4.6 yards than we did this past year. And we won 1 game without Tony Romo out of 11. Excuse me, out of 12. So clearly, the quarterback still has to do a little something. You can't just say we're just going to run the football, because if that was the case, then, well, hell, Buffalo would have won the Super Bowl because they were running 4.8 yards and getting 152 yards in the ground. So the funny thing is, the Cowboys had the perfect storm in 2017 of what could go wrong. You had Zeke Elliott suspended at the same time that you lost Tyron Smith and had Chaz Green come in. At the same time, you had Sean Lee out. And that just literally, I think, 1, shell shock for Dak Prescott not having Zeke for the first time. 2, your defense wasn't as good. 3, you went from Tyron Smith to Chaz Green, and Chaz Green just was awful in that game. And 4, kind of like if you remember the Denver game that same year, where Denver came in and shut down Zeke, it seemed like our play calling was just like, I don't know what to do. What do we do? What do we run? It was just like they were literally dumbfounded. And it seemed like that first game that Zeke was gone, it was the same thing. Alfred Morris was still running the ball effectively, but we only ran the ball like 12 times. And had they stuck to the run, they might have been able to get something going, but be that as it may. Here's where we are, flashback to today. If and when they suspend Zeke, we may have to play without him. Now, I think we may be in a better position. I don't want to, believe me, I don't want that to happen. I want Zeke there for 16 games. But we have a young dynamic back, at least in Tony Pollard, who's a change of pace back. I think we've got better wide receivers than we had before. I think our offensive line is going to be in great shape. And contrary to where 2 years ago, people were saying it's time to get rid of Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith graded out better than any offensive lineman on the offensive line. And him going into the season, being healthy at the end of the season, not having to rehab, being in great shape, and being able to go to OTAs is huge. And so is Tyron Smith. And you look at where this offensive line should be headed, that we should have great starters, but not only that, we should be able to weather a storm if we get an injury or two, because we look like we have great depth. Now, everybody looks great right now, of course, in shorts and helmet in OTAs. There's no guarantees how they're going to play when they get pads on and stuff for these new guys. But you've got good people, it looks like it. And you've got other guys that have experience. Now, one guy that Vosh says get rid of him is Salafalo. But Salafalo played good at times. And I also say that the guy literally had his eye poked out. Up underneath of it, it got cut and pushed and everything else. And you think that, did he have vision issues playing down the stretch there? Because I don't know if I had my eye looking like it did. Because literally, you thought it was like any given Sunday where the eyeballs laying out on the field. That with his size and strength, that maybe another year in the system, that he might still be a very serviceable guard. But we'll have to wait and see and figure out what the Cowboys decide on that. But as far as the Dallas Cowboys, what we learned is actually this past year, as opposed to 2016 where we ran 149 yards, or 2014 when we did 147 yards. You look at this season, the second half of it, where we kind of turned things around. We actually averaged almost 25 yards less a game running the football. And I think that what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to be able to step up that passing game. Not a whole lot. I don't want us to be doing 300-yard games every week. But if we are able to mix that ball around, share the wealth, one, take some of the pressure off Zeke Elliott and the wear and tear. Two, use these speedy wide receivers that you have. Three, have your possession tight ends and Jason Witten and Blake Jarwin. And start hitting all these different spots on the field. It's going to make it that much easier to be successful with this offense and be able to go a lot further than where we have before. Because in the past, we have always been kind of that straight running team, that teams would put 8 men in the box and there was no fear on the outside. We need teams to be feared from everywhere on the field that we can score. And if we do that, and the defense is as good as advertised, we have as good a shot as anybody to go all the way. So that's all I got to say about that. I've got to go ahead and get ready for my day job. We've got to go get these cabinets finish putting those in. And Don, we'll see you guys tonight at 7:30. I'm Mark Holmes, and I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you soon.